Done.
And away we go.
Yeah, welcome to podcast episode 19.
Wow, you do really keep count of these things.
Yeah.
I was just going to go, welcome to the next podcast.
Yep. You already
This
forgotten?
one's called Close Enough is Good Enough.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not that I forget. It's just, there are a lot of things going on in my brain. Numbering podcasts is not high on the, it's not even on the list. It's,
I know, because you've made that editing mistake before. I know it's not high on your list.
shush.
Oh, got him there.
Twas an accident. Twas a little accident.
There's a funny accent.
Just like you. You're a funny accident.
I know, that's why you laugh.
All right. Question number 1 of the day. When do you call it on self optimization?
How do you mean?
When is close enough good enough on optimizing your own behavior and optimizing your own week? When does tripping over yourself to better the way you do things get in the way of actually doing the things?
Is this coming, well, not necessarily coming back, but is it similar to saying, when do you stop before you start just being a perfectionist and not moving on?
Yeah. But in cool boy language.
I think the way you do it is you shouldn't aim for perfection. It's not theoretically possible. And also, it ends up being a waste of time when you do it forever. But you should always have a goal like, I want to be as good as that person, or I want to reach this level, and then I'm satisfied. Because if you try and go more, you'll never be satisfied and you'll never get there. That's my thought.
Yeah.
I think that would be the way to go about it. If you don't set yourself a goal, that could lead to you trying to perfect it, and then you'll never know when you'll complete it or when you'll reach that perfect level, because it might not even exist. You might not even be capable of it as a human, at least. So I think at some point,
So I'm coming.
There you go on.
Oh, fuck! I'm gonna have to cut this, aren't I? I've completely lost my train of thought.
I was just going to say that at some point you have to realize where the bar is you want to reach, I think. Otherwise, you'll just still be trying to climb, and it'll get harder and harder, obviously, because you'll get so good that at some point you have to realize, all right, I am very good at this.
Yeah, I don't even think it needs to be like a defined bar. So this is just based on an experience I had today. At work, dumb labor to do. It's not that dumb actually, but I'm quite comfortable doing it without having too much. And just scrolling through podcasts to try and go through, and I saw a Human Lab one come up on Spotify as I'm trying to find stuff to listen to. It's like Robert Greene's. He wrote the 48 Laws of Power. Big guy in the getting your shit together online space and literary space. Great book. I haven't read it. I should read it. Anyone listening should read it. It's informative and is aware of the inconsistencies in how it doesn't say you have to behave exactly this way to be more powerful. It says there's different things to do in different situations. So it adds a lot of context and flavor. And even though a lot of the 48 laws contradict each other, it makes sense in the grander scheme of things. So anyway, he's on Human Lab podcast. It's 3 hours long, and I look at it, and I look at that 3 hour plus timestamp, and I feel disgust.
Oh, yeah?
Which is not something I've ever felt looking at a really informative podcast before. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, that's so much to learn. Today I was just like, I don't have fucking time for that. I know. And then just the realization like, oh, I know enough that I just need to get on with doing the work and doing my life. Like, for the first time in, I don't know, my adult life, I've had enough of it is ego, but also hard won, sort of. Look, I might be wrong. And those ideas about myself will have to die if they are wrong. But for now, like, I'm probably there was just better use of my time at that time to listen to something else and
Mm.
learn something new rather than just ruminate on the same. Not necessarily the same. You do find some gems listening to that sort of crowd talk over and over again, but yeah, like again, like disgust is an odd emotion to feel. Really informative, interesting podcasts and guests that you used to really, really enjoy because there was nothing but pearls of wisdom coming left, right, and center. I
That's
probably,
that's not to say there isn't
yeah, you go.
pearls of wisdom in that, eh? In that video, but you just is it just the amount of time you'd have to spend like listening to that disgusts you, or is it just that another one? Like I'll never like it's just
Oh,
another lot of
it's
information. Like you'll never
it's the
conquer it.
chance, right? Yeah, well, no, I feel like I've conquered enough. The amount of pearls of wisdom that'll be completely unique and life changing out of a conversation like that, probably not that many. Out of it, not stuff that I haven't already heard or understood. Like, I'm a pretty avid Chris Williamson listener. He's just at the cutting edge, and Simone and Malcolm Collins too. They're so out of left field. I love it so much. I've learnt so much more from them, and they're wackier. Although I'm pretty much on board with what they say, it's just so not the mainstream point of view. You can actually learn a lot from that and be exposed to truly alternate opinions. Whereas the like mainstream, anti-mainstream stuff, I don't know. I've done a lot of that. I don't know how much more of that I need to listen to actively. Keeping it to the ground, sure, but I'm not going to be like, oh, what do they come up with next week? They disagree with the main thing. Oh, excellent. I disagree with it too. It's not. At some point, I'm going to cross a line where it's just masturbatory. It's intellectual masturbation rather than actually having tangible things to learn. Whereas if I just go on Facebook Marketplace and go and buy a violin, see, I've entertained myself with a new skill for fucking hours.
Yeah.
At some point, I should stop buying instruments, but today is not that day.
Here's a query for you. When does something you've learned become a skill?
How do you define both those things?
Well, I would say like you've taken this violin, for example, to learn. When would you, in your opinion,
Yeah.
say that you have learnt that as a skill? And you could, let's say someone wanted you to perform, you could perform it. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, you have a skill in that.
Not yet. I I can barely get the fucking thing in tune at the moment. So playing it's not hugely on the cards right now. I suppose there is a point where it sort of transfers over. There's a level of mastery that it becomes it's not even a huge level of mastery. Like, I would say I have some skill at the guitar, but if I was going to have to perform anything, I'd still want a good couple months lead time to really knuckle down and practice it. So right now I'm sort of just I'm learning and I'm making myself learn skills and practice particular things and trying to be smart about it and efficient and not just like fuck around for half an hour a day. But yeah, it's at the point now almost where I need a direction and a set list to learn and really master with a band or something, and then another set list. Yeah, like
So would you
so I
say
would almost say it's a skill.
that you have a skill in guitar then? As of right now?
I don't know.
Like do you feel like
Depends
you
what you count as a.
are good enough? Like if you showed the average person, they'd be like, oh yeah, cool.
If I showed the average person, they'd be like, "You're bad," and then
Ah.
I'd ask them to hold it and try it. Then they'd be like, "Holy fuck, how do you do this?" And we're like, "Yeah, not so fucking easy, is it, cunt?" It's like it's one of those things that because we're so exposed to just virtuosos and masters on the radio, all the popular stuff is because people are really fucking good at it. And those people don't come around all the time, and like most people that play aren't playing at international touring level. They're playing at they'll be able to get a crowd jumping at the local pub on a Friday night, and that's what's more valuable than that. But if you listen to them, I don't know. There's this big, broad skill set that is required, and the civilian instrument civilian doesn't have an appreciation of the hours that go into it.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. But when I say like the average person, right, let's say they just like hearing guitar and like, oh yeah, you sound really good. Like to them, you're like, oh, that they would think you have a skill in that. But if you went to someone who's a professional and like singer songwriter, whatever, and they use that instrument, they might not see you as skilled. So is it just based on perspective and whether or not you've gained that skill?
If I had to perform in front of, I don't know who's the world famous guitar player. If I had to perform in front of Slash, it'd be like an Olympic pole vaulter watching a child roll around on the floor and be like, all right. I mean, you're on your legs for some of it, I guess, but it's not. Yeah, exactly.
It's not special to him because he's done it and he knows how to do it far better.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be at the point where he could teach me anything. Oh, he probably could, but like that sort of skill differential, the most you'll get is an attaboy. Keep going. One day you'll get there. And that's all they have time to give you. Like,
yeah,
a guitar teacher would love me at this stage, but I'm not going to pay for that. So I will, alas, just continue on teaching myself. Also learning the violin and also learning the bass. And also reading Game of Thrones, which is going to be fucking hooked. And also. Oh, yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? Yeah, there's a bit of...
So many things you want to learn.
Dugite media admin that I... There's a bit of Dugite media admin that I said I'd do. Like, I sat down and did some conceptual stuff. I had some more thoughts. More ARG-related thoughts, although they didn't really... I was in the car while having them, so I couldn't really write them down, so it's an ethereal wisp of an idea that I could maybe claw back, but yeah,
I understand.
But like that's the extent of it, because I couldn't write it down at the time. What was an actual good hard think for like 10 minutes is now ethereal and dust.
I can hear a plane going over.
Have your ideas turned to dust. Oh yeah, that's because I live remotely near an airport.
No, just, whenever you talk, I can just hear it. It just chimes in. Like, oh, there we go.
Dude, that's my disabled brother. Don't be mean.
Yeah, righto.
No laugh. Goddamn. Tough crowd out here tonight.
I was. You're just not that funny.
Oh, did you see, to change the subject, did you see Matt Rife was cancelled?
No. People get cancelled every day. I don't keep up with it. I'm sorry.
I know, but this one's really funny. I've had a couple of YouTube creators that I've just unsubscribed from. I'm not engaging with them because they were like, how could he say such a thing? I'm like, it was funny. Like, he's a comedian. Like, he alienated his audience there. His audience is predominantly female because he's fucking just smoking hot. Jawline of the stars. It's
Jesus.
You cannot deny it's a beautiful. You cannot deny Matt Rife is a beautiful man. From the bottom of my heterosexual heart, goddamn, that man is beautiful. So consequently, a lot of his audience is female, and he pops up in the algorithm. He made a not so female friendly joke. He was making a comment about being in, I can't remember what town it was. He was saying it was so rough that the waitress had 2 black eyes while she was serving. He was like, couldn't you like get her to work out the back, like in the kitchen or something, where she's out of view of the public for both our sanity and her, at least her own dignity. Well, I suppose if she could work in the kitchen, she probably wouldn't have got those black eyes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, effectively.
That's all done?
Yeah, dude. Dude, that was a good one. And then you just smash cut to compilations of rich white women on TikTok going, dark humor is about where you joke about stuff that happens to you and it's not about punching down and blah, blah. Dude, they lost their fucking minds. It was great.
Yeah, people
And
don't like edgy
even
slash
better,
dark humor.
even better was Mr. Rife's response to that. He's like, put up an Instagram story, pretty sure, and it was a link to my official apology. And he was like, "Look, if you've ever been offended by one of my jokes, this is the link to the official apology that I'm putting out." And it just took you to a store where you could buy special needs helmets.
Oh, the joke just keeps going. Oh.
Oh, dude, our boy doubled down. He is now our champion.
Yeah.
He upset the most
Hey, he wasn't a pussy
progressive
and backed
women
out.
all
There's
in one
nothing wrong
go.
with that. He's a comedian. Just
Nah,
take it as a joke,
was-
or just be like, all right, that wasn't your funniest joke. Whatever. I still like you for all your other stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on his Netflix special. And yeah, it was. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I was like, oh, it was in the first like 5 minutes. So
Wow.
I saw that and I was like, oh shit, our boy's going hard. And then everyone else was like, I couldn't even watch the first half. I couldn't watch past the first 5 minutes. It's all.
If they just skip the first 5
Anyway,
minutes, they'd never know.
Yeah. It is fun seeing people that upset. Because, like, obviously,
It's kind of
I
pathetic.
can't believe we live in a day and age where I have to caveat this. Obviously, don't hit your wife. Like, why is that something we have to say? Anyway, don't hit your wife. However, joking about it sometimes, when done well, is funny. I'm not the funny cops. I don't decide that. It just is.
Some people just don't get the
You
joke.
don't think that?
They just see
Don't
this.
watch it.
You can't talk about that. It's like, isn't it the right thing to talk about that, though? Like, to make people aware of it, that it happens and it shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
People are weird. Oh, well.
Yeah.
On a similar note, though, like
People
drama
on the
related,
internet are crazy.
internet
Drama
historian, from what I've heard, take this with a grain of salt, has apparently plagiarized some shit in one of his
This
videos.
offense is killing me.
Yeah. You'll have to do your own research. I briefly read over a small article about it. Yeah. So
What
people
is
are
it?
mad at him because he plagiarized someone else who made the content and basically read it word for word. That's all I know, basically.
No shit.
But yeah, so yeah,
Yeah,
someone
you
else
had
getting
it when you were
cancelled.
telling me,
Another day.
What? There's no way, our Lord and Savior. Gonna have to fucking fact check this. Internet. I'm typing one-handed, don't judge me. It's taking for.
I'm sure that won't stop people watching him because they still find him very entertaining. But I think this has been his first major
They
slip
could
up.
be like,
Like ever, I guess.
internet historian it could be revealed that he was just, when he wasn't making videos, again, just mercilessly beating his wife and kids. And I would still sit through all his videos and be like, this is the best shit ever. Separate the art from the artist, people.
Yeah. Just don't support him if he's a person like that. That's how I'd say it. I mean, there has been plenty of artists who have done pretty fucked up shit, but what they've created is quite fucking impressive, and plenty of people still listen or watch whatever that is that has been created by them.
Yeah. What am I looking at? What the fuck is Reddit? God, I'm in the cursed area.
Cursed.
He unplagiarized it and then re-uploaded it. They were like, what? God, in the age of these fucking people. Ah, is it wrong to accidentally plagiarize someone? Yes. Is it gonna be weird about plagiarizing stuff going into the future? Also, yes. Because thanks to ChatGPT and all that shit. I know it's not my area of specialty, but you can just not plagiarize something. I don't know, like putting it in your own words. That's literally anti-plagiarism.
Yeah. Because it's not just a copy paste. You actually put effort into wording it your way.
Yeah, like even if you got the idea from someone else, like what was it? A video on wine? Is that the one?
I'm not sure what video it was.
It's just there's so much content on you. You would accidentally like plagiarize.
Well, there's a
if you were just
possibility
putting
as
it
well
through,
that
like,
it
a
was,
search algorithm.
if he has a team behind him, which is possible, that they were the ones responsible as well.
Yeah.
Whether that be by accident or they gave him the wrong. But like, it's just a few variables that aren't 100%.
Yeah, and like, so I had in university, I actually had papers rejected by the anti-plagiarism software. So like, it's too similar to something, and I'm like, it's a very niche subject. How the fuck else am I meant to talk about this very technical work? Like, of course, it pretty much exactly matches the reference material I've been working off of because I haven't. Yeah, technical sciences are hampered by that sort of thing.
Mm.
Of course, you can't just copy paste. They've got to do something against it. But yeah,
It is what it is.
another plane to come past and cover my yawn. Well, that's disappointing. Oh well, I don't care. I'll continue to watch his videos like my life depends on it.
What if they're 3 hours long, though?
Damn as I am. I'll do whatever it takes.
Will you feel disgusted?
I'll father
You'll be
internet
like, oh no,
historians'
it's
children.
okay. It's okay if he doesn't.
No, because okay, the difference between actively trying to learn something and just engaging in the visual cocaine that is YouTube, very different things. Yeah, like I'm not. It's like saying that rather than reading a book, it's like saying reading an informational book and having like 7 beers is the same thing. It's really not.
No, no way.
One of those things is constructive. One of those things is anti-constructive. It makes my brain feel better. Procrastinates things.
Yeah.
Oh, if I wasn't trying to be a little bit leaner, I'd definitely have joined you in a school night beverage.
Hmm.
So they do make podcasting fun.
I have a school night beverage like every podcast, I think now. It's just becoming tradition.
Just like, yeah, you need to drink to get through talking to me. I get that,
yeah, duh. Once you do it twice, it's like, yep, time to drink.
Sunday's going to be it. Once you do it 16 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Alcoholism continues.
How good.
I thought you had a different set of podcast notes you wanted to discuss this time around.
Yeah, I've got a lot more.
All right, no, continue on.
It's not like podcast notes. It's not like podcast notes go off, so we can just do them next time. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought next time would be a special episode, but we'll see.
It won't be special. It'll be special. Together. So it'll be special because we're together.
Special.
Dude, I threw up in my mouth a little bit saying that.
Oh, you love to see it.
So, to jump around like internet historians, plagiarism department, something topical. Anyway, the next question of the day is fiction masturbatory?
Is it masturbatory?
What is the purpose of engaging in reading fiction, writing, like playing video games? Like, what is the overall benefit? Is there an overall benefit to doing that rather than engaging in the real world with real people? But I am playing with real people. Yeah, you're masturbating the male urge for hunting tribe banter. If you all get in a COD lobby and go and fuck some people up, that feels really good because you did it as a team and that's how males bond. However, You could be fucking training for a park run or something. I don't know. Like, take your pick of tangible, real world, life improving activity,
I would
like
say,
meaningful activity that you could be doing instead.
personally, I would say no, but I think it's more to do with how I view fiction. I think that's why I would say it isn't masturbatory. But I think if are you referring to just wasting time, like in video games or entertainment such as movies or
A
books?
little bit.
Like just
I feel like
like
perhaps a better way to put it
you
is
spent
that a better way to put it is that the is fiction sin? Is distracting yourself from the real world sinful?
yeah, like so not socializing basically. Like you'd rather spend your in the world of books or watching movies or playing games instead of actually spending time with people. You'd rather spend it behind a screen.
Going out and yeah, rather than going and conquering neighboring tribes, yeah, just
But
engrossed in a book.
I think if that's what you use it for, yes, I would say that'd be masturbatory. Like if that's all you're using it as an escape
I think it
all the
depends.
time, just all the time, it's like you're not living in the real world. You're just trying to be comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But the reason I would say
People are allowed.
there you go.
People are allowed to want to be comfortable, but also it is sin because like you humans are wretched and will sin, but we shouldn't glorify it. We should just accept that it happens and try and move on with life.
Hmm.
That's the whole biblical point about sin is that it's not actually you can't in order to optimize your life to never sin, that in itself is a sin because you'd never get anything done. So you're of no use to your wife and children. Or you would never have a wife and
Or
children,
your
then that's
cause.
not very
Yeah.
useful. Yeah. So to risk sinning is to take action, and that's important to do
But that's why you ask forgiveness at the end.
simultaneously.
It's like, well, I didn't mean to go about it this way, but I had to do it in order to such and such.
Yeah. And it sort of accounts for the biological processes that sometimes you really just do want that visual cocaine or that you really just do want a cold beer at the end of the day. Fuck, I'm talking myself into what shit.
Do it.
Nah.
I think
Nah,
it can be important if you take shit away from it. Whether that be through analysis or like you. Because let's say, for example, a lot of characters in like fiction in general, like it allows people to put themselves in that position. Like see yourselves as the hero or whatever the protagonist is. But they struggle.
Yeah.
So they feel human. And I think if you
Yeah, I'm definitely having that experience.
If you relate with that and you understand why, I think that can be helpful in like furthering you in life and realizing things. I think they can teach important lessons, but not everyone would take that on board. Like, oh yeah, that was a cool story, and then move on to the next, and then they're stuck in that cycle of, yeah, they're just watching it for entertainment value only. No, it's a bad thing.
I'm certainly having that experience. I'm certainly having that experience rereading Game of Thrones, having read all the books that were available and then watched the seasons to their completion. I haven't seen House of the Dragon yet. People are like, it's so good. And I'm like, me in what time? I have instruments to learn. I can't stop, guys. Like, I'm sure it's a great story. I'm sure it's visually engaging. I'm sure you hang around and wait and you bought that streaming service and you've watched extra shit because they release them one at a time. So you're a good little consumer. But I will not be doing that. But now rereading the books, I've almost finished the first one, and the amount of times I'm like, look at me, I was like that, or I am like that, or hopefully I'm going to be like that.
Or I wish
so it's
I
a nice
was
little
like
like
that.
reflective tool. Yeah, in the same sort of way that I allegedly hear psychedelic therapies act. So they're like allow you to look at yourself like you're a character, or take you out of your own day-to-day bullshit and let you look at your life more objectively, and then go, oh, why am I like that? I don't need to be like that. Yeah.
In saying that, there's just a thought
Fiction is
across my head.
psychedelics changed my mind.
In regards to like
Yeah.
taking drugs, for example, like psychedelics or weed or cocaine or whatever it is,
Yeah.
that can become masturbatory too. Would you not think so? If people are constantly, especially once they become addicted, or they just take it and it's like, oh, I feel good on it. It's
by
like, well,
definition,
you've become the same thing. You're no different to someone who plays video games all day. You know? And
yeah, I think generally the analysis is done the
lives.
other way around on this one. I feel like we had alcoholics before we had incel gamers, so they're always compared the other way around. God, what a strange generation we live in. Alcoholics are the OG incel gamers.
They're incels.
Yeah. It's dopamine abuse. But like, everyone's just doing dopamine abuse.
Oh, absolutely.
The only way I've successfully found out of my own dopamine abuse pits that, well, not pits, that's not been that bad ever, but I notice it getting not good. And the way out of that is to just absolutely crush a good hard week at the gym. And that sort of resets me. But it's not like I'm not just abusing dopamine there. I don't go to the gym as like some punishment and then keep doing it. No, I feel fucking fantastic for like a whole day and a half. Like, it feels good while you're doing it, and you feel great afterwards, and then you feel great the next day. It's just slightly less instant, and also transfers a large health benefit and longevity benefit and function benefit. So it is worth doing, but it's the same brain wiring that's involved in becoming an alcoholic or a cokehead. Like, so this is kind of, I think, what the ancient religious teachings were getting at, is that if you don't risk like the sin, you won't do the good stuff either, because that's run on the same wiring. Like, people that are impulsive and have a short attention span, and men, basically, like, they make great warriors, and great warriors are needed pretty much all throughout world history. Like, that's not something you can, and also they're really good at reproducing, so that becomes the gene pool. So you can't be like, oh, well, you guys can't ever drink. That would be, we can't let you do that. No, it's much more a balance of how these people function and the benefits and harms that they infer to a society. So in order to put the brakes on the harms, you would also put brakes on the benefits, and so we get away with a lot as a culture, if that makes sense. Because, like, the Protestant drink yourself to death, don't spend any money, fuck the world type thing, that, like, that iteration of the culture of the British Isles made for a lot of alcoholics and a lot of hurt children and a lot of pain individually within the population. But that pales in comparison to the pain they inflicted on the rest of the world when they fucking took it over. So, like, costs versus output trade-offs, like, it's... They did succeed at becoming a global empire. And goddamn did they not coddle their children in the process. And it made great men that achieved great things. And yeah, whether you think colonizing places and displacing peoples is a good thing or not, like, that is objectively a great task to have achieved in magnitude, not necessarily morality, whatever.
No, you're right.
I don't want to be Matt Rife. Yeah, so I think it's an interesting question. It's one of those human problems that, because the good stuff and the bad stuff is part of the same wiring, we don't get out of having the bad stuff along with the good stuff.
I think the abuse of it keeps people addicted, though. And because it's easy
Oh, for sure.
to do, whether it be drugs or entertainment, right? Because it's easier just to keep watching or to
Yeah.
keep consuming. People do it because it's like, well, I'm guaranteed happiness. Whereas, like, if I have to work hard for that, then there's a slight chance that I don't
Yeah,
succeed,
exactly.
and then
People,
I'll be sad, and then that's just stupid. Because eventually, when you
people
try,
are
when you
cowards to the idea
even if
that
you fail once, when you finally succeed, you will feel great about it. You'll feel good about it.
yeah. Okay, so we're going for a long one today. Oh, I still have to edit it. So as a final layer of that question, based on something I heard off Simona Malcolm Collins's podcast, is friendship for the sake of friendship sin? The same way that video games taken to their extreme are.
So what? Just having friends.
Hold on, I have to go swap a car around.
Welcome.
I am returned. What the fuck was I saying?
We're talking about having friends for the sake of friends. As in the same
yes,
as like
so-
using playing video games, I think. Is that you're all getting at?
Is it a good thing for you to be worried about having lots of friends and keeping up with everyone? And is that actually utilitarian for you to be doing in the grand scheme of achieving your goals?
I do think you should have company. Like, I think you should still spend time with your mates. But if you got shit you got to do,
Yeah.
go do it.
Yeah, you've got a wife for that. Got a girlfriend.
Yeah, but
She can keep you company.
She's not a man, is she? It's different.
No. Why do you need to have friendships with men? Just to put you on the spot there.
I'm trying to think of how I want to articulate it.
Yeah.
I think it's like an outlet, basically. To be cooped up in the same position all the time isn't that healthy. I think a change of scenery, a change of spending time with mates, and I think that's why you should have at least some variety of friends. Just to, bounce things off and do different things. I think that is
Okay,
healthy.
so
I'm not sure how exactly to explain it, but yeah, I think you should.
is it
Doesn't mean you do it all the time.
is it more
but
accurate?
Go on.
Yeah. Is it more accurate to think of like trying to be active friends with someone? The reason why males bond intrasexually is to do stuff, basically, to make coordination easier. That's why males are able to be friends with each other. Just to make taking down mammoths possible. So then everyone gets to eat. That's where that comes from. So it is objectively an inefficiency in the way you run your life to be just hanging out with male friends for the sake of hanging out.
For the sake of hanging out, I do think it'd be a waste of time. If you're actively doing something together, whether that be like you're going out surfing together, or I guess even to a degree like playing video games, but I think if you're doing that all the time, that kind of has the opposite effect as well. But I think if you're basically going on a mission together, as you were saying, like going to hunt and kill a mammoth, like it's a bonding experience with your mates, but you can't do it alone. Or at least if you do it alone, that could lead to your death. But together, you can achieve great things. And then it's like, well, I have a good mate in that. And then you also can rely on that person if you're in strife. They can rely on you if you're in strife. I think there's important things from spending time with your mates.
Yeah.
And I think like every so often that's more like by doing that, both sides realize that, like, I can rely on this mate to help me out when I'm in strife, and then vice versa.
Yeah, this is based off a conversation we had not on air a week or two ago. Where I was saying, yeah, we really need to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like the best experiences we've had as friends is doing Dugite Media and doing that even when we were but a wee young whippersnapper or two. Like we were trying to do YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Like build something. Conquer something. That's where the deepest, most meaningful friendships are. And then everyone else is just sort of around. And like you build up this, like enough of my friends that I just know around have really good, like I like them and we've really grown apart these after uni, after high school. It's like we became such good friends because we were all in a band together.
Yeah, we're all
Like
in
we're
it
all in the
together.
same classes, studying the same things. We had tasks to do. And then now that we're not, I don't know if they're breaking up with me or I'm breaking up with them.
Or we're
Like
just
I
on different
tried
paths.
to, yeah. So what I said, yeah, but I managed to. Well, I didn't manage to. I was just a bad influence on them. So I got a bunch of them into motorcycles. I got them. There were all these things that we did as friends throughout our young adulthoods together, and now they just don't. Like me getting into guitar and then other people going, oh yeah, I'll do that too. And then them not taking it nearly anywhere within a magnitude of seriously as I have. It's the first like real gap widening that I'm like, oh, these aren't my people.
They don't
And
share
it'll
the
like need to
same
be like
amount of
around.
interest.
Yeah, but like they were as keen as me to begin with, and then they just haven't applied the discipline to it. Again, because they've just been using visual cocaine in the form of video games and stuff like that. They've been satisfying that urge for male bonding somewhere else, somewhere easier and more comfortable. Unlike not coming on big camping trips. That 2019 winter camping trip, it's a seminal moment for the boys. That was because like we were all not fresh out of high school, but we're all like coming into our own as adults. That was a real like powerful.
You know what? We
coming of
never done
age
anything
moment for
like
a
that
lot of us.
together either.
No.
So that was the journey.
We went
That was
out
the
and
mission. And we did it together as a group.
Yeah. And we conquered that mission. We achieved. It was good. It was a good time. Now, when you and I go out and we're like, let's go to a mountain. Oh, the only time I got, you know who I'm talking about, the other one. We went and did Bluff Knoll last Feb.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he won't agree to do much. He'll agree to a beer, but he's not like, he's active. I was like, you should get into guitar too. And he's like, no, I don't want to. I'm like, all right. And then I'm like,
no.
Just the other day, I was sending him a message, and I was like, yeah, just want to remind you that I am better than you for all the stuff that I do. And he's like, yeah, well, 1v1 me in League. 1v1 me in League, and we'll see who's better. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about League, dude. Go to the gym, put on some lean mass, learn an instrument, do something in the real world. Don't be a fucking fat, sweaty neckbeard. Yeah. But the one time I did manage to get him... The one time I did manage to get him to go and fucking have an impromptu... Him being unemployed did help. And just having infinite time and nothing to do. And I was like, I'll pay for fuel. And he's like, count me the fuck in. Let's go.
Oh, free shit.
And we basically just drove to Albany, climbed Bluff Knoll, almost completely untrained, the both of us. And heart rate was wild. I was looking at the data afterwards and I'm like, that's a cardiac arrest for somebody who's like 50. Jesus Christ. It was pretty tough. But we did it, and God, did we feel better after that. We slept like 13 hours afterwards. We didn't even have any drinks that evening.
Yeah, but you earned it.
Yeah, but it was just like, yeah, we achieved.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when we went and did the camping trip this winter, like we went and did another Albany-related piece of exercise.
Yeah.
Bald Head.
Yep.
When did Bald Head? That was great. That was a great bonding experience. And you'll note the one person in the party who didn't do that wasn't as close to everyone else as everyone else was.
Nah.
Nah.
I didn't really expect them to
But
understand that, but yeah.
no, neither.
But I feel like if it
Oh,
was
you're living
the
alone.
boys from 2019, though, I do feel like we would have done that journey together.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it would have been good, like very good.
Dude, I was picking fights in the group chat today. Maybe now's not the time for me to go. We should go climb a mountain together next year, boys.
Yeah, maybe give it a month.
Fucking slinging shit like in my life depended. I'm like, here's all the studies, and you guys are ruining your lives by not doing what I told you to
You
do
all
2 years ago.
suck.
So-
Okay, I'll keep playing video games.
yeah. Leave on red, you fucking cowards. Leave me on red. Oh well, they're mistakes. Yeah, like I'd like to do stuff with them, but also I know I'm beginning to realize that I could go without doing stuff with them. Probably just fucking continue to make this into something with you and work on more projects and more projects and more projects and more projects and more projects, dude.
I think this comes back to what I was saying
Fun.
before about like gleaning meaning from like fiction, but in this case, it's like having something meaningful to do, which is why it's important to have friends. And I think also like if you did it alone, like cool, you've conquered that, but like you did it by yourself. There was no one else to experience it with you. Like you didn't have that bonding. Is the only thing that I'd say. Like
No, man versus himself is
yeah, like it's not bad,
like
but it's like when
conquering
you
your
do it
own
with someone
demon.
else, you're like, yeah, we overcame that together. That was pretty fucking good, wasn't it? And then it's something that when you are relaxing and before you have your 13 hours of sleep, you've earned that drink that you're having. You know what I mean? Like everything, it felt earned. It felt worth it.
So what we're saying is modern friendship is sin, but community and conquering neighboring tribes is absolutely based.
Yeah, and or as you were saying before, like if you had to go and spear a mammoth or any other wild animal, the victory is you've got food for everyone, and you did it together.
Yeah,
And you all share a meal together. Like there's just I don't know. It's not, you're right in the community aspect of it. Yeah, it brings
I
people
think
together.
something that we're
And
doing
I think
wrong.
that's important.
Something that we're doing wrong in this day and age is we're not thinking of our social groups as a community. We're thinking of them as a bunch of interactions where I feel better about myself by hanging out with you. It is masturbatory the way lots of people go about it.
Well, I would say it's very like selfish because it's like it's all about you and how you're better than everyone else, and then it just becomes like a gossip bitching session, and that's it.
Yeah. I think I'm done with that. I think I'm ready to burn some bridges. I shouldn't, but I might. We'll see.
Like it's just trivial. You could be going out and doing fun things, but like beneficially fun things. Like, oh yeah, that was hard, but I had fun. Yeah.
How are you, dude? That was a meaty podcast. I reckon that was possibly one of the best ones we've done recently. Amazing what you can do when you actually have subject matter to talk about, am I right?
Meat. I just
Dude,
think when there's so much fucking steak.
Steak. Liara. I just love when there's so much steak.
So much steak.
All right. Let's cut this off so you can start uploading your files and I can maybe even get some of it done tonight.
Okay. As you wish.
All right, people. We hope you enjoyed our ramblings. Yes, you damn right as I wish.
Thanks for listening.